Hello, and welcome back to another video with me. I'm sure everyone is ecstatic to be here. So the purpose of writing assignment 2 is to learn more about the work that evidence does to support an overall argument. You will be working from an article in class, identifying claims in that article, and evaluating the author's use of that evidence. To do that, you need to find that evidence. The evidence can come in all shapes and sizes, so we are going to try and cover as many ways as we can to locate that evidence. But if you run into any issues, you can always contact me or the other librarian assigned to your class. So let's say that the article you are looking at cites a scholarly peer-reviewed article, book chapter, or a conference proceeding, like this article from the Eric Luna packet on restorative justice. This packet has a citation that makes it really easy for us to find this evidence. With that citation in hand, the best place to look for the article is a library website. First, we are going to try searching in Summon. Summon is a discovery layer that searches all of our holdings online and in-house. This is great because everything we own should be here. But it can also be frustrating because it can also give you a whole lot of unhelpful results.
Bunker trial. Nope, not the one in the abandoned Bennigans. Not that one. Or that one. Come on, Florida.
Either way, it's worth searching the title of the article you're looking for to see if you can quickly find it. Also, if the article is like 2 sentences long, the title, maybe just, type in the first part here. Great. There it is. It pulled right up.
You like it?
It's wonderful.
But what would we do if it hadn't pulled up? Well, this takes a few more steps, and the truth is we might still have this article, and someone just had some issues finding it. So first, we're going to look at that full citation again and find the journal title. If it was a book chapter, you would look for the book title or whatever the container of the source is. It's usually in italics, or it might even say, if it's a journal, the word journal or review in it, which makes it easier. But you might have to look at the citation closely for a second. So it looks like this citation is saying this article is in the Utah Law Review. You'll notice that they abbreviated the L and review as well. You can always just hit up Google. My good gracious, this happens all the time to me. Okay, and search Utah L Rev. And it's going to pull up that this is the Utah Law Review. Okay, so sometimes abbreviations force us to go to Google. And we'll go to Google for other things later, as you will see. So we're going to go ahead and click on journals. This is also going to search magazines and newspapers. And we're going to search for Utah Law Review. Okay, there it pulled up. The next thing we're going to want to look at is the year that this article was published. So this article was published in 2003. So it looks like the only place that we have coverage for 2003 is in Nexus Uni, my arch nemesis, if you remember from last semester. Okay. So once we get here, we're going to always try to click Advanced Search. You'll see that it's already making sure we're looking in the Utah Law Review here. But let's go ahead and go to that Advanced Search. Make sure we scroll down. It's looking in Utah Law Review. Now I want to just search the title and see if the same thing I typed in before can just bring it up for me quickly. Okay, there it is. I see, we've got the Utah Law Review. I see it's the same author over here. Well, I tried to highlight it, but it's the same author. So sometimes it's going to change depending on what database you're looking in. Sometimes it's going to ask you to look at the volume number next and then the issue number. And you kind of just got to go with the flow. And if you ever have any questions about that, you can always ask me or the other librarian assigned to your class. Okay, let's go back to the library homepage. Okay, so now what do we do if we still can't find the article, right? The library is not pulling it up, so the library doesn't own it. Okay, the answer is something we talked about in Core 110.
Simba, you have forgotten me.
No.
You can use interlibrary loan. It's free. It's easy to use. If you don't procrastinate your research, we can get that article to you pretty quickly. Interlibrary loan is linked on the library homepage. but I will also put it in the description box for this video. If you have any issues with that, again, you can always ask us. Let's talk about the other types of evidence that you might be looking for. So some of the other types of evidence that you might run into during this assignment. Let's say we're starting from this news article from The Conversation. The author could be citing interviews, they could be citing organizational reports or research briefs from health institutes. The list goes on and on. But when it comes to these resources, a lot of these articles are going to link directly to them. You'll see that there's an underline, phrase here that you can just click on and it will take you there. Okay, so this is always a good sign to me as a reader because the more obvious the information source is, the more confident the author is in sharing it with me. If they are hiding that information or you're having a hard time finding it, you have reason to be concerned that this isn't great evidence. I want to see those receipts. Okay, let's say you run into something like this though, and it's not underlined and they're not telling you, everything, well, not linking you to everything you need to go to. So that's when we're going to go to good old Google, okay? We're going to take all the information that they gave us here and we're going to search it on like a general web search and see what it pulls up because it might be helpful to us. All right, so I'm going to put in how they described that study, which was just like a study of people who spent time in prison, which I'm sure there's a lot of those. And the author's name was Bruce Western. I'm going to see what that pulls up for me. Okay, so the first thing it brings up is an article from Harvard. B. Western, I'm guessing it's Bruce. Yep, there's Bruce's name. And it's Lifetimes of Violence in a Sample of Released Prisoners. So if I read this abstract and look at it more deeply, I may have already looked at this before I showed you guys. I'll find out that this is what that article was referring to, okay? And that's just kind of the way you've got to do it when they're not giving you all that information. Again, I do want to reiterate that if it's really hard for you to find the evidence, I'm going to be a little bit concerned about how valuable the evidence is, right? Just like you in your writing, if you're confident with it, you're going to make it clear to the reader where you got this information. So we're going to talk about evaluating this actual evidence in your library session, but if you have any questions about evaluating or finding these articles, feel free to ask me or the other librarian in your class for help. But that's all I've got for now, so happy researching.